So on the bot page, you see the option to create bot. Just click on create bots. All right. So you go to the hedge strategy, click next. Now from the setup, you can actually deduce how much or how profitable this bot can be. All right. So here, whatever setup I do in this bot is my current recommended setup you can use for your hedge strategy. All right. So we have a PDF in our WhatsApp group. We always share the PDF that you can use for this. So make sure you join our WhatsApp group or join our Telegram group. So you can also see this same setup on PDF. All right. So now here you can just go to search for the coin you want to trade with this bot. So you can just search for let's say, okay, I want to trade MNT, right? So please make sure you use the recommended coins. My top four recommended coins is SUI, SRP, BCH, or um, LTC, that is Litecoin, right? You can use any of these coins. All right, these are my top four coins for hedge strategy. In fact, let me use one of them. Uh, let me use SUI for this video. All right, so now when you type the coin, you click on change, click on where they say change. All right, so click on change and search for SUI. All right, just search for SUI to bring it up. Select the SUI and then select the API and then choose your um, risk modes. All right, so for new traders, I recommend 5S leverage. For those that have been trading before, I recommend 10S leverage if you want to make more profit, because the higher your leverage, the higher your profit or loss. All right, so I will choose 10S leverage, and then below risk per trade, I will choose 3. Maximum symbol exposure, I leave it at the default. Maximum portfolio margin, I leave it at the default. Daily loss limits, I leave it at the default. Hard stop daily loss, I leave it at default. All right, these are what is called in engineering or mechanics, you call it maybe something like a circuit breaker. That means if you are losing more than 8% of your capital, stop trading. That is what it means. All right, that hard stop daily loss. That's what it means. So you leave it at 8, and then entry time frame, leave it for at 15 minutes entry time frame. All right, and then confirmation time frame, leave it at 30 minutes, and then entry aggressiveness, this is the score. This is how the bot scores the signal. All right, so if the signal is strong enough, the bot will be expecting something from 45% and above. So when you choose moderate, it means that the bot confidence on the trade is 45%. The bot is saying, I am 45% confidence that this trade is going to close in profit before entering the trade. But if you choose 0.55, the bot is saying, I am 55% confidence that this trade is going to close in profit. That is what it means. So for this trade, now that means the more conservative your entry aggressiveness is, the stricter the bot in making choices in selecting the coin to trade. All right, so for this I will choose moderate, and then entry threshold I will leave it at default, which is 0.45, and then for confirmation mode I will still leave it at strict. All right, then maximum hedge ratio. Now when you are choosing a maximum hedge ratio, you are considering how much do you want the bot to trade in the opposite direction. For instance, the bot enters a trade with $100. All right, a long with $100. That long means the bot is buying, so that when the price goes up it will take profit. Now if the bot is buying with $100, if you choose 0.7, it means that you are telling the bot that if the market is about to reverse and that long is not meeting up with my profit target, and you see a signal to short with 70% of that $100. That is what it means. So when you choose 0.7, it means you are telling the bot to buy the opposite direction with 70%. So if you choose 0.6, you are telling the bot to buy with 60%. If you choose 0.8, you are telling the bot to buy with 80%. If you choose 0.9, you are telling the bot to buy with 90%. So for this particular video, and for the recommendation we give, we recommend 0.7, right? And then for hedge cooldown minutes, that means if this trade triggers and it closes, how many minutes will you wait before it re-enter another trade? So a default is 10 minutes, so we leave it at 10 minutes. And then maximum DCA count, how many times do you want this bot to apply DCA? You can say 3, you can say 4, but we recommend 3 for now. All right, you can increase your own to 4, you can increase your own to maximum of 5. For me, I recommend maximum of 5 if you want to increase your own. All right, so we leave it at 3. And then ATR spacing multiplier, how do you want the bot to multiply uh the the, the DCA margin? Like how many percentage do you want the trade to drop before the bot can apply DCA? So for this, there are sometimes that the market will be very volatile and the price may go very, the candle may go very far, all right, before the market will begin to go in your direction. So it's for me, for sustainability, and I will recommend 2.5, all right. And then maximum spread, leave it at 0.55. Maximum slippage, leave it at 0.2. And then hedge threshold, how do you want the bot to score the hedge entry before it enters? Now remember that this hedge entry is for it to also sustain the main entry, so it doesn't have to be too strict like the main entry, so that the bot can easily enter, especially when the market is going side, that is not going in your direction. So for this, we leave it at 0.3, sideways 0.3, normal 0.3, trending 0.3. In fact, leave everything at 0.3. All right. And then mandatory stop loss. Now for this, we are not using stop loss. The reason we are not using stop loss is because sometimes the trade may still go in your direction after it hits your stop loss. So even when we used to do manual trading, for those of you that have gone through my crypto trading course, I always prefer dollar cost average over fixed stop loss. So here we have fixed stop loss, we have ATR based stop loss, and also we have trailing percent. So for trailing percent means that, let me quickly explain how this trailing percent works. This trailing percent means that if the market is going in your direction, there are sometimes that you will expect 10% profit. Now the market may go up to 5% profit, or 6% profit, or 8% profit, or 7% profit, and reverse. All right, so the market may reverse, and at the end of the day it may even close in loss, in a way that you lose your money. In a way that you lose your money, you didn't, the market would have given you profit, but it didn't hit your profit target, and then reverse and then close in loss. So that's why we are having this trailing distance instead of a fixed stop loss. So for trailing, we set it at 2%, and then for trailing activation ROI, we set it at 5. All right, so I recommend 5. Now what this means is that if the market goes 5% in your favor, and then it is trying to reverse again against you, that the bot should, if it reverse by 2%, if the distance, if it reverse by 2%, the bot should close the trade and take the profit that is left. That is what it means. So it is a way of doing what, of still securing or locking in more profit for you, while your trade continues to grow, while your capital continues to grow. So if this closes, what happens? The bot will still re-enter the trade again. All right, but if the market start going in your favor and go 5%, the bot will lock it. If it goes 6%, the bot will lock in. If it goes 8%, the bot will lock in. So if it reverts from that 8% down to 6%, that is 2% below the the initial lock, the bot will close. That means you are closing in 8% profit. But if it didn't reverse 2% below and it goes up to 10%, which is your profit target, the bot will close again, and that means the bot hit your TP. So at the end of the day, this is one of the most profitable strategy compared to the other ones that I have. All right, so that is it. And then funding rate, leave funding rate at 0.05 and 0.05, so because there are some funding rate that will consume most of your profit. For instance, if you are using 0.4, 0.20, or 0.5, it will consume most of your profit. So we leave it at 0.05. All right. And then for the main TP ROI, so we set it at 10%. That is the main TP expectation. And then partial take profit. Now remember that we now have partial take profit. All right. So now for partial take profit, you can say, okay, for first TP, if this trade goes up by 4%, close 20% of my trade. That is what it means. Close 20, take profit from 20% of the trade. If the market goes up by, let me say, 6%, all right, close 30% of my trade. And then if the market goes up by 10%, close the remaining 50% of my trade. Make sure that if you calculate everything, it is up to 100%, so that it will not close part of your trade and leave few cents in position. So make sure that if you are doing this, that this calculation 20, 30, and 50 put together will be up to 100. That means at the end of the day, 100% of your trade will be closed, all right, in profit. All right, so that is what it means. And then net profit target, we always recommend fixed net profit target. Like I said, check the PDF to know the net profit target to set according to your own account balance. So for this account balance, I can decide to say, okay, let my net profit uh, target be $200. All right, so if you hit $200 profit, close. So that is it. And then hedge exit mode. So for hedge exit mode, we always choose, we have leverage ROI present, we have price movement present, and then we have whichever target is reached first. So we select whichever target is reached first, so that the bot can have options to choose. And then for this particular setup, we will also enable hedge stop loss. All right, so here you can set hedge price TP to 2%. Okay, set it to 2%. And then now you come here, see, you see hedge stop loss type. So we have trailing and fixed. Like I said, I always recommend trailing stop loss. All right, instead of fixed stop loss that we close, and at the end of the day the market may still go in your favor. So we select trailing ROI. And then for the trailing ROI, you have hedge trailing activation ROI. So for hedge trailing activation ROI, you can set it at to 5%. All right, set it to 5%. And then hedge trailing distance, still set it to 2%. And then hedge ROI TP, set it to 8%. All right, so after you've done this, just cross check all the setup you made, make sure that everything is in order. All right, cross check all the setups, make sure that everything is in order. All right, after you've cross checked, all you need to do is check the time based control. For me, I always disable it. All right, and then after that I click on next, and then click on create bot. All right, so you can see that the bot is created. All right, so all you need to do at this point is just um, click the three dots, beside the setup you just made, click on view, and you will see the option to start. All right, so once you set up like this, you can see it is running, right? So that is how to trade this particular strategy. So you can